This is equal to 14.77 days. So fortnight goes into, you know, that describes the time between a new moon and a full moon, a fortnight.
So 14.77
days.
And 14 plus 7 and plus 14.77 is what?
About 29.
No, exact 29 and a half days.
Yeah, 29.5.
To be exact, 29.53.
Con.
Did Nate know that?
No, hell
no, you don't know that. It says 8 verse again. The month is called after her name, or the moon is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. What does that mean? The different stages of the moon. All right. It decreases and then it increases. Right? It goes from a crescent to half moon to full moon to crescent to new moon to crescent to half moon. All right. Now, when Nate, when you went to Genesis 1 and you read about the stars and the moon being a light, when the Most High put the moon up there, of course he could have put it up there as a full moon. We ain't arguing that, man. But that doesn't mean it's a new moon. Well, he put it up new, so it's new. No, he put it. Hey, just like when the angels came down to visit Abraham, did they come down and they were newborn babies and it took 20 years for them to grow up and see Abraham? When Melchizedek came down, he came down as a full, complete man. He had no, and that's another thing you don't understand. You don't teach your people because they didn't understand. I got the video. They didn't understand that Melchizedek didn't have a father and a mother. And them two old jakes had to straighten these guys out. Melchizedek didn't have no father and a mother. How is that? Because the Most High created him from the spirit realm into being a man on the earth. And that's mystical for my man, Dr. James White. That's mystical. Okay, it says increasing one, we're still in the 8th verse, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above. What does that mean? Does that, well, that's the angels? No, the armies above is talking about the stars up there, man. That's what it's talking about. Shining in the firm. That's why you need somebody to teach you. It says shining in the firmament of heaven. 9th verse, the beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, which are light, an ornament giving light in the highest place of the Most High. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches. This talking about the stars. All right. That's it on that.
Yeah, that's heavy, man. About that fortnight, it totally lines up, man. You know.
And let me read the 12th verse. It compasses the heaven above with a glorious circle. That's how we know that the earth is a circle. The universe is of like an oblong circle. And the hands of the Most High have bended it. That's it.
All right, so this is our 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 24. It says, so David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come, the king sat him down to eat meat. And the king sat upon his seat as at other times, even upon a seat by the wall. And Jonathan arose, and Abner sat by Saul's side, and David's place was empty. Nevertheless, Saul spake not anything that day, for he thought something had befallen him. He is not clean. Surely he is not clean. And as we're going to show you that the new moon is a Sabbath. That's why, you know, if he would have been unclean, he wouldn't have been able to come around. It says, and it came to pass on the morrow, this is the day after the new moon, which was the 2nd day of the month, which shows you that the new moon is what is the beginning of the month, the first day of the month. And then, you know, you had the 2nd day, 3rd day, so on and so forth, right? It says that David's place was empty, and Saul said unto Jonathan, his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? So basically let you know that the new moon is the first day of the month, is the first day of the week, right? Now let's go to Amos 8:5, saying, when will the new moon be gone? So these are them wicked Israelites wanting the new moon to be gone. Why? It says that we may sell corn, and the Sabbath that we may set forth wheat. Why? Because the new moon is a Sabbath, and you couldn't buy or sell on that particular day. That's why they wanted the new moon to be gone, which proves that the new moon is a Sabbath. And then when you feast, because it is also a feast day, but then when you feast on that day, you're supposed to sing hymns to the Lord, like the Psalms and all of that. You're not supposed to be rapping and singing R&B and have women scantily clad, all that BS. It's not that type of celebration. It's a celebration to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, not to you. All right. Now this is Leviticus 23 and 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, which is what? The new moon of the 7th month, it says, shall you have a Sabbath. So letting you know that the first day of the month, which is a new moon, is also a Sabbath. It says, first day of the month shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation. So the very first day of the month is a Sabbath. So that's what dictates your Sabbath for the rest of the month. Because you have days, you have weeks, you have months, and you have years. Leviticus 23 and 24.
Okay, this is Leviticus 23 and 1. It says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the sons of Israel. The word there is children, but it's supposed to be sons. Bunyam, Yeshua Allah, and say unto them concerning the feast of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. That means to come as a calling that you come together. All right, a calling to come together. Even these are my feasts. Now, among those feasts is the Sabbath. In other words, the Sabbath is a high holy day. It's a special day to the Most High. That's why in the 3rd verse he says, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. Now, what's the starting point? When do you start that day? If it says 6, this is for Nate. It says 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. So when did that start? Back during that time. When did they have a Friday back during that time? Huh? Yeah, right. He's saying that because he's here now and he got the wall calendar. Oh, it's Friday night, Sabbath. That's not scriptural. There has to be a starting point, and there will have to be evidence of 2 calendars. David had to go by 2 calendars. When you read about the new moon and David and Saul, they had to have 2 different calendars. Because it said on the first day of the new moon, then the 2nd day, and then the 3rd day. So what days was it on the other calendar? That calendar doesn't exist. And you try, like we were talking about this, about you, Nate, you doing that because people are getting bored with you, man. And you had to show how deep you was. Because you had that chest-eye cat smile on your face, like you found something deep. And Uncle Ben next to you, he gonna ride with you wherever you go. Oh, Uncle Ben. Let me read that again. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath. So how do you establish when does the 6 day period start? Did Moses have a wall calendar? Huh? Do I need to go in the room and get me that wall calendar to show you that? You look at the wall, there it goes, Friday, sundown, to Saturday, sundown, right? I mean, read again so you can get it in your thick heathenistic skull, because you're a heathen right now. It says 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. Now, do you go by the new moon that Saul and David, what you just read about, do you go by those days? Or do you have a separate calendar that you go by? So the 3rd day of the new moon is really the 9th day according to the other calendar, the other Hebrew calendar. It says, let me read it again. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath, the regular Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. All right. And then it goes down into the various feasts. It goes into the Passover, goes into the Day of Atonement. It goes into the memorial of blowing of the trumpets. All right. Now I'm gonna show you something, because a lot of people out there get confused on, you have okay, like the last Sabbath was what was that, Wednesday night to Thursday, but then the new moon came in on a Friday night. So that was what? You had like one day in between those 2 days. Because how many Sabbaths do you have in a month cycle, in a moon cycle? You have 4. So if the new moon comes in a day after, or a day and a half after, or 2 days after, you got to keep both of those days. And I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you that. That's if I can find it. Hey, I found it. Okay, I'm gonna go to 37 verse, Leviticus 23, verse 37. It says, these are the feasts of Yahweh, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh, a burnt offering, and one of them is a Sabbath, and a meat offering, a sacrifice, and a drink offerings, everything upon his day, right? And now it says, we read about this, the different high holy days, right? Which are Sabbaths, which means rest days. That's all it means. 38 verse. Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord. So you got the Day of Atonement, you got the Passover, you got the memorial of blowing of the trumpet, you got the Feast of Tabernacle, which are all holy days. And some of them you have the first day as a holy day, and the 7th day or the 8th day is a holy day. Or the Day of Atonement, what did you have? The Day of Atonement, 3 days before that, you had your regular Sabbath. And then 3 days after that, you had the Day of Atonement. So that was another Sabbath. So you keep the Sabbath, the regular Sabbath on the 7th day, and then you also keep the Day of Atonement. They're both Sabbaths. That's why it says in the 38th verse, I'll read it again. It says, beside the Sabbaths of Yahweh, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto Yahweh. So on certain high holy days, it said, come not empty, right? But then you also have free will offerings, which you can give at any time, right? And your gifts, when you can give at any time. But there's certain days where on certain days, three days out of the year, you had to come not empty-handed. Now, what if you gave a gift 2 days before that? Are you going to say, well, I already gave 2 days? No, that has nothing to do with the 3 days that you come together and come not empty-handed. Do y'all understand that? Because people are having a hard time understanding these high holy days, man.
This is the book of Ezekiel 46:1. Thus saith Yahweh, the power, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days. But on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened. Why? Because the Sabbaths are Sabbaths, obviously, and the new moon is a Sabbath. So on the Sabbath days, the temple is open, but on the working days, it's closed, this particular temple. It says, and the princes shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate without, and shall stand by the posts of the gate. And the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of the gate before the Lord in the Sabbaths and in the new moons. All right, because they're connected. Now, this is the book of Isaiah 66 and 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because those are the main days that the Lord requires. All right. This is yes, on Apostle Gabar.
Yeah, just a little information. I'm back in this moonconnection.com. It says a new moon brings with it the sense of calmness. In this moon cycle, people's emotions get back to normal. Their determination, because we know the moon affects the tide, and our bodies are made up out of what? They're made up out of water. That's why on a full moon, people, they go loco, man. You know, you had to say it's a full moon out tonight, and people are acting crazy. They even say that here. They say, let me see, it says the moon cycle can affect the way we feel about things. In particular, when the moon is full or new, both males and females can experience dramatic changes in their mood and behavior. When the moon is full, stress becomes a major factor. Now, when I've read that, immediately I thought about Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai was put on that cross when what? When the moon was full. So that added even more to his stress, man. You know? It says, when the moon is full, stress becomes a major factor and people become more sensitive to details. All right. And then as you read on, it says, when the moon brings with it, a new moon brings with it a sense of calmness. So here you go from calm, and that's balance right there. You go from calm to being excited, then back to calm again. So it seems like the moon is regulating a lot more than just the days and the years. The moon is pretty much regulating a lot of things, man. People's emotions, you know. It also regulates the tide. You know, you have the ebb and flow. You know, at full moon you have high tide. At new moon you have low tide. You know, so that moon is pretty. It's a heavy creation, man. You know, there's a lot more to it. Yeah, you got it.
That's right. All right, this is 2 Kings chapter 4 and verse 20. I started.
See what you learn when you come to, a great millstone through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Them other camps, they ain't gonna teach like that. You know,
they can't.
They can't.
Yeah, this is the story of the woman that had a husband. I believe this is she would put Elisha up, and he promised her a child, and then when she got pregnant and had the child died, right? And this is what she wanted to go inquire of Elisha. So this is the situation. This is 2 Kings 2 Kings 4 and 18. And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out to his father to the reapers, and he said unto his father, my head, and he said to the lad, carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon and then died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of the Most High, and shut the door upon him and went out. And she called unto her husband and said, send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the asses that I may run to the man of the Most High and come again. And he said, wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, it will be well. Okay. So this let you know that anytime you read about the new moons and the Sabbath, they're always connected together. You know, no matter what situation, whether you're going to the temple to worship, or whether you going to see a man of the Lord, or whether you unclean, by reason maybe of a dead body or whatever the case is, and you can't attend a particular event, on the new moon. And this is you had something possible?
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment. The new moon is what? The first day of the month, right? Well, everything that's the first belongs to who? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Even the days, man, the days of the month. And that goes back to the law. Okay, what is that? Exodus? It would make sense that the first day of the month, which is the new moon, would be a hallowed day, because it's separated unto the Lord, and it goes back to the law.